Welcome to Conversations with Body and Mind with myself, Nirvana Lange. Body and Mind is your health and wellness online directory. And coming up in today's conversation, I'll be chatting to Deville, and she is a counselling psychotherapist and hypnotherapist. Good morning, Donna. How are you doing?
Morning, Nirvana. I'm very well, and yourself?
Good, can't complain, thank you. And also sitting here in cold Cape Town, and can't wait for summer to finally.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened to spring.
I don't know what happened to 2020, and I don't know what happened to spring. It's like, what's going on? Donna, so you're one of our new members on the Body and Mind Health Directory website, and welcome, and we're looking forward to looking after you and marketing your wonderful work. But tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey. How did you get into, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy? What were those stepping stones in your life that was kind of, this is what I want to do?
Absolutely. It's actually a very long story, I guess, but I'll try and keep it as short and sweet as I possibly can, because I think as you evolve and you grow older and you experience life, you end up on a journey where you start to question what you're doing in life and your meaning and your purpose, and what on earth are we actually doing here? And that there were certain events that eventually evolved into me finding this particular meaning in my life, I guess you would call it. And it's almost as if I'm compelled to do it, otherwise I feel like I'm not living the purpose. So I'm a visually impaired person, and I have been since birth. I have very low vision, and through a process of in those olden days, people in my situation had to go to specialist schooling. You weren't allowed to do mainstream schooling, and except I was the exception. I kind of, as per normal, I bucked the rule, and I ended up not going. And I went through mainstream schooling, but with that being different and not quite fitting into society's norms, I obviously faced many challenges, and I dealt with a lot of emotional issues and complex things going through growing up, and especially as an adolescent and a teenager. It was very, very difficult. I did happen to eventually, everybody that I knew said to me, you need to go into psychology one day. And it was like a natural, I was everybody's go-to person, and as life happens, I was very academically strong and ended up doing exactly the opposite. And I went into administration and financial management, which is really not me. And then certain events in my life later on, much later on, like 20 years later, there was like a period in my life when there was a complete, shall we say, deconstruction of my current life. And I suddenly realized that I really needed to follow my true calling, and that was more of a healing field. I really felt that I'd experienced life in a way where I had a lot to give. And that drew me into a process where I started looking at, okay, well, what, self-analysis, where I started looking at what can I do with this. And that drew me very much to the psychology, and I specifically wanted to do counselling. I wanted to do the actual therapies, because that's where the healing is.
Of course.
And I started the psychology courses, and I suddenly realized, the therapeutic methods in mainstream psychology are very, very, shall we say, empirical, but they're very much present-based and future, in order to progress into the future. And the issue that I had with that is that often, in order to progress in life and to really fulfill the future in your potential to the greatest, you actually need to heal the past, to create a new framework of thinking, to create a new belief system, to create a new foundation, really. And I felt that was lacking in psychology. So I started looking at how I could navigate a new way of bringing the healing of the past into the present and the future. Yeah. And that was when I found hypnotherapy, because it creates a new belief system, it creates a new identity, and the way you can use it is to then for yourself and for others to then lay that new foundation based on the healing of the past.
So
to
Donna,
create the
sorry if I interrupt you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Carry on.
No worries. Yeah, I just wanted to get into for you to tell us then a little bit more about your practice of counselling, and like you were explaining, because very important, if we want to heal the now, we have to literally go back a few steps, and it's not only just on ourselves but also generationally, and DNA wise and past life wise and things like that, which, some people might not understand past life influences, but they have huge influences on what's currently our challenges in life. And it's a good way to bring it to the surface. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your work and how you're processing in helping people, and how does that work?
Yes, it's very much part of the process that I also went through. Recognizing that as it evolved, I then started practicing as a hypnotherapist, and it was very much a case of, as I studied the psychology more and more, I started integrating the different, shall we say, mainstream psychological therapeutic methods with the hypnotherapy, because the hypnotherapy creates like it connects the, shall we say, the unconscious stuff that's going on based on experiences, environmental influences, and, as you mentioned, genetic DNA memories, with therapeutic methodologies for the current. So I found that what I started doing is, as I studied more and more, I started integrating the two, and it as a system of healing, it works beautifully together. It really, really does. It gives, because you're able to say, okay, you'll often find situations where people don't really understand why they feel like they do, why they have the behavioral patterns that they do, or even why they have certain symptomology, physiological symptomology that they don't understand. And often it's a case of, let's go check in the past, let's see what's happened, let's change your belief systems and your perspectives on things, and then we can use the more sort of mainstream methods to integrate that into your current life, into your current existence, into your current experiences. So it's kind of like connecting your subconscious to your cognitive analytical abilities in order to change your behaviors or to change your experiences. And it works across the board, it really does. So I integrate things like gestalt therapies, cognitive behavioral therapies, your regression, analytical therapies, existentialism, even logotherapy. That's about finding the meaning and your purpose in life, and that works beautifully with hypnotherapy, because very often it takes that dissociative experience to actually bring the meaning into your life.
Yeah, I always say with a trauma, there's a lot of people that goes through trauma suppress a lot of stuff that they're just too much for the mind or for the psyche to deal with, so they kind of put it behind quite a few walls. and you know, it needs to be brought forward in order to deal with what's happening in your life currently. And that is a very courageous thing for people to do, you know, to say, well, I want to bring this out.
Yeah, and very often that's the benefit of the hypnosis experience, is that it's not, you know, very often especially when you're dealing with trauma and you're dealing with it sort of in complete consciousness and awareness, it's very difficult to really face the challenge of that and of that experience and contain it and get over it. But versus when you have the buffer of a hypnotic experience, you can overcome so much more and more quickly, because you can reframe the experience and the perspectives on it,
you
without actually dealing with the experience of the trauma itself.
Exactly, just what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Yes. So, so you're based in Cape Town, like we've established in the beginning of this conversation, and luckily now with this current level, you can see people, And so, why don't you tell us where you are based, your contact details, email address, if you've got any social media pages, so that people can get in touch with you.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I'm based in Deville in Cape Town, northern suburbs. I have my practice here, and my practicing hours are 4 days a week, basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and my sessions are generally about 90 minutes to 2 hours. I generally find that, especially when you're dealing with hypnosis, there's no interruptions. You've got to complete the process. Otherwise, I always call it, I don't let you leave half-baked. So we finish what we start. And so that is generally how I like to work. My contact details are, you can WhatsApp. I'm on WhatsApp at 076 672 2941. My email address is Donna-Lee.therapy@gmail.com. I've got a Facebook page as well, and that's Donna-Lee Deville Counselling, Psychotherapy, and Hypnotherapy. And I'm on LinkedIn. You can follow me on LinkedIn as well at Donna-Lee Deville. And then I'm on Body and Mind as of now.
Yes, absolutely. And I was going to say, and you can go to the Body and Mind website and you can just search Donna-Lee Deville in the search bar, and all her details will come up. You can also look at the links below that we will post, and click on that and get the contact details through our conversation chat below. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notifications of our next interview. You can also download the Body and Mind Health Directory app and interact with us that way. And please go to the blog, bodyandmindblog.co.za, and you can interact as well and find us that way. We will share all those links in the chat below. Thank you very much, Donna, for chatting with us today. And
thank you, Donna. It's been
good
wonderful.
luck, and we're looking forward to supporting you in your journey with Body and Mind.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Donna. Bye-bye.